Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Orange Crushing It. My name is Frank Clark. You know who I am. Done the show, I don't know, a million times, maybe a little less, but it's up there. It's a lot of time. And I appreciate every single person that's ever listened to this show. And I appreciate every single person that's ever come on this show. And I have a really cool lady who's going to be on my show today. Her name is Bella Varita. I don't know if you roll the R's when you say her last name, but I love Bella Varita. Doesn't that sound like a Italian romance actress? It really does. Like if there was a poster in my room of some actresses, Sophia Loren and Farrah Fawcett, there would be a Bella Varita poster too. Okay. Anyhow, Bella is a cool friend of mine. She's the CEO and founder of the first female-led sales agency servicing the United States, Canada, and Australia. Wild. She's been selling since she was 8 years old. And after spending several years in the dangerous world of drug sales, which I'm going to certainly ask her about, she had a turning point that forced her to make some new choices. I can only imagine. She entered into network marketing, and by the time she was 19, she was the top earner in that organization. Then she discovered something about sales that competitors didn't seem to understand, and that is if you have a true desire to make people feel listened to, paired with a go-getter attitude, you can outperform anybody in the field. And as an early age, she learned that, and as a result, she built a multiple seven-figure real estate business. And then by 24, she became the number one business broker in the entire state of Nevada. I mean, this is some cool shit. I mean, really, this is some badass stuff. Okay. Like I've been in sales for 35 years. I can't say that, that's me. That's, I don't haven't met too many people that can say this stuff. She is awesome. Anyways, one would actually say that sales may be in her soul. And now she's the CEO of Align Sales Services, which is her passion is to help businesses scale and women create financial independence through sales. Bella Verita, welcome to Orange Crushing It.
Thank you for having me. Something's like crushing above my head right now. And I'm like, what is all that up there? I felt like something fell on my head.
The heavens are coming down upon you right now. Yes.
Yes.
They all want to be part of your broadcast today. How can the gods are listening? Okay. That's it.
I like it. I like it.
So how are you?
I'm spectacularly amazing in so many ways.
You are.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to connect with you. It was like fun to meet you in LBI and then, now to reconnect on here. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, thank you. You're welcome. LBI, by the way, is Long Beach Island. For those of you that don't know that little acronym, yeah, we were in New Jersey. We were surfing together. Well, let's put it this way. I attempted.
Wasn't just one of us surfing?
That's what I was just going to say. I was just this, okay? Yeah, surfing entails getting up on the surfboard.
That's
surfing
true.
does not entail just pretending or attempting.
Or paddling out. That doesn't count.
That doesn't count. And Bella was like the only one, I think, that actually got up on the surfboard.
Yep, I was one of two out of, 56 people?
56.
Well, let's give optics on this. Like it was crazy weather outside. Like waves are going sideways. Like even the instructors that came out were like, did not want to give instructions. Like they were like, nobody is out surfing today. And all of us crazy people were out there surfing. So
yes, we were all out there. And the lifeguards were like almost about a mile apart on each end of the beach. That's how far you would drift. Literally, you get in the water and you think you're paddling out. No, you're paddling all the way to Delaware. It's like, where the hell am I?
Fair enough.
You know what I mean?
Fair enough.
And it was cold. Of course, it's the Atlantic and it's September, October. It's October, And anyways, we all made the attempt. However, Bella was the only one with our little pink surfing cap. She popped out of the water and actually did surf. So congratulations again, Miss Overachiever. Well done.
Thank you.
Hey, welcome. Hey, so, you've got all these accolades, great in sales, and I want to get into, some of the techniques and some of the tips about selling that you like. But you spent some, you were in the dangerous world of drug sales. Was that were you like me, selling a couple of joints once in a while, or were like you like a powerhouse, you like one of these narcos kind of thing?
Well, we did like, I was in high school, so it was like dime sacks, because that's all like you only bought like dime sacks at a time when you were in high school.
Right. That's all you could afford.
Yeah.
Right.
It's all you could afford. So I was like, I'd buy my pounds and then I would break it up into the dime sacks and then sell it off.
Okay. Well, there you go. I mean, you go to private school? Catholic school always had like good
I
stuff.
know. I did not. My sister did, and the drugs that she did in Catholic school were way worse than any drug I ever did in public school.
Yeah. We didn't do a lot of the hard stuff, but we had stuff. Even the teachers had this stuff. You
Yeah.
know?
No, my
Yeah.
sister tried some crazy things that even I've never tried.
Well, I'm glad that you're not part of that world anymore. Thank you for leaving
No,
that.
no.
But you joined network marketing, and by 19 years old, like you're the top producer in
Yep.
that group. And then
Yep.
you're again top business broker, real estate. Now you're running a sales business. Again, Bella, how did you know you liked sales? I mean, 8 years old, you're starting. What was the like? Was it the money? Was it the getting the yes? Was it the I can, I'm powerful because I'm selling? What was it like back then?
That's a really great question. This is a story that I have never told on a podcast that like people will only like hear now because this distinction just came to me not that long ago. I think when I really learned that like sales and influence was a superpower was in high school. So, in my junior year, I dropped out of high school. Well, let me back up for 1 second. So, in Texas, to be able to graduate high school, you have to have 2 years of a foreign language. And so I didn't take a foreign language my freshman year. I enrolled in Spanish in my sophomore year and I failed. And then I enrolled again in my junior year and then I quit school. So I came back to school my senior year. My school had just started a like work study program where you could like work half the time and earn school credits and then like go to school the other half of the time. And I was like, that's my gig. Like, I just want the fastest way to get out of high school as possible. And so I was sitting in my counselor's office and they're like looking at my school records and we're like figuring out how to make up stuff. And then she's like, but you don't have your foreign language. And now I'm a senior, right? So you can't take 2 years of a foreign language as a senior in high school. And so in that conversation, like I remember influencing her because like this work study program was a new thing that they were trying, and I was like, "Don't you want it to be successful? Like I know I could be successful at that." And so I enrolled my school counselor that if I did this work study program and I achieved at this, if they would forgive my 2 years of foreign language and still let me graduate. And they did. She said
Wow.
yes. So I was, to my knowledge, the only student at McCallum High School in Austin, Texas, that graduated high school without a foreign language. Still to this day, do not able to get a foreign language underneath my belt. But that was when like I really discovered like the power of influence, the power of like asking questions and how to give people what they want to be able to get what you want. Like she obviously wanted me to graduate high school. I wanted to graduate without my foreign language,
Right.
and we ended up coming to an agreement formation and I got to graduate high school with my class. So
And
that's
and you,
what I really
you've heard it here first on Orange Crushing It, an exclusive on how to influence your teachers. So
yeah.
those of you out there, by the way, any high school student listening right now, if they tell you you need 2 years of a foreign language, take the 2 years, okay?
Fair enough. I wish I
Lily,
had learned a foreign language.
yeah. Well, you lived in Texas, right? So didn't you learn a little Spanish? We all learn a little
Me
Spanish.
no
Yeah.
habla español.
No, no habla. Dos tequila, más tequila, por favor.
Más tequila, por favor. El burrito, Taco Bell.
There we it. That's it. That's it. We're out. Mic drop. Out. So another question I have for you.
Yep.
And I'm going to stay along the sales line here,
Yep.
okay? Because you just said something that was really cool, and that was that influence is a superpower,
Yep.
right? And I know you and I are involved in a methodology of getting from hello to yes called the formula. We're both learning this as we go, where there's just 10 indispensable steps, and there's 4 steps on it, and there's 4 energies, and there's 7 levers, and all of these different, 25 different things to learn in that particular one, right? I don't
Can
know
I
if you've
make
had
a
any.
distinction here?
What's that?
Can I make a distinction here?
Absolutely.
I'm not learning, I'm mastering. I don't
You're a
know
mess.
what you're doing, but I'm mastering.
Oh, well, I'm mentoring. So if you'd like to master under a mentor,
I
give me a
see.
call. All right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like it.
Like, I love the distinction though. I love
Yep.
I love the reframe.
Yep.
All
We're
right.
masters, baby.
We are masters. That's right. We are mastering the formula.
Mhm.
And as part of mastering the formula, sometimes you got to unlearn some things, right? And there's been so many different sales strategies. I've studied, Wilson Counselor, Sandler, Carnegie, Brian Tracy, over my span of 30 plus years in sales, I've learned a lot of things. And, the Wolf of Wall Street methodology, obviously, that, grind them out kind of thing. And it's effective, right? People that have these sales strategies, they win with them. And I'm sure, throughout all your organization and all your selling skills, I'm sure you've had some formal training or people have influenced you to some degree. What is it that you go, oh, this actually was a way that I learned to sell, and I can't believe it was effective. I would never sell like that again. Never.
Hmm.
Never, ever, ever. I would never sell. You know what? Here's I'll give you all you thinking about that answer, okay? I'll
Okay.
give you one that I was just the words alone that people use in selling. First of all, nobody likes to be sold to, right? Nobody likes to be closed. Nobody likes to listen to the pitch or the hook, right? Or that, hey, I'll meet you in the middle thing. Where do you need to be?
Yeah.
Oh, I hate that. Like, where do you need to be line, right?
Yeah.
That's not selling. That's not influencing. That's just negotiating and doing it horribly,
Yeah.
actually, right? So those are a couple of things that and it was standard language. It was just a standard language of selling, right? It still is in a lot of
Yes,
cases in a lot of
definitely.
organizations.
Most
So
definitely.
for you, what do you think?
So I would say, like my biggest one is like it's in the internet marketing space. There's a lot of fake scarcity. Like buy today, or it's like $5,000 more tomorrow,
Oh yeah,
or like there's 5 seats left when there's 500 seats left. Like just that kind of like fake scarcity, like drives me insane.
right. Yeah, because you're right. Because it's not honest. It's not integrous, right? And I mean, you're selling real estate, and real estate now, to some degree, is kind of like, hey, if you don't put an offer on the house today, you're not going to get the house. I hate to say,
Now
there is
that's
a
integrity based scarcity
yeah,
because that shit's for real,
that shit's for real.
especially in Austin right now. Like,
Well, everywhere.
yeah.
Yeah, it seems like it's everywhere. So okay, so now that you're training salespeople,
Hmm.
right, and now you have the formula that you're mastering, have mastered, not mastering, you're mastered the formula. Okay,
Still mastered.
uh,
There's always room for improvement.
there's always room for improvement. There's like that little more optimal. How can be that 0.0001% more optimal, right? Because again, Pareto rule, right? 80/20,
Yep.
and the 80/20 of the 80/20 and the 80/20 of the 80/20. You get down to that granular 1% is producing 52% of the results.
Yes.
What is that 1%? What is that
Yep.
one little distinction, right?
Yep.
And what would you say the top three distinctions, if you're going to do, I know there's like so many different things we've learned, right? And I'm not trying to short circuit on any level the formula, okay? But of all the things you learn in that particular space, of which there's 25 different things to learn, what are the
Yeah.
top three? Like, I'm never going to forget these three.
Yeah. So I would say number one, without a doubt, that's life changing for every single sales call, like even just in relationship in general, is the number three on the indispensable element, which is acknowledgement.
Okay.
Like acknowledgement has not only changed my life in receiving acknowledgement, but also in cold calling, if you will. Like when you start out with acknowledgement, like it immediately puts the guard down, the defenses down. um I've noticed in training my salespeople, like that acknowledgement has been massive for results.
Acknowledgement,
Yep.
number one.
Yep.
Okay. Number two.
Oh, you want me to keep going? Okay.
Yeah, I
um
want your top three. I want your
Okay, go ahead.
top
Okay,
three.
I didn't know if you wanted to have any commentary on my number one. So
Well,
go
no,
ahead.
I will actually. I will comment on number one. Yes,
Okay, gotcha.
acknowledgement is key, and I think acknowledgement is piggybacked with what I would say is one of my top three things, which is level 5 listening.
Wait, that was my number two.
Ah, hey, so you got to come up with another one.
Nope, nope. I don't, because you asked me what my top three was.
All
So I
right.
would say like level five listening was number two. So acknowledgement number one, and then level five listening number two, because you're listening for like what is like not said. And I was doing like a role play call with someone the other day and, giving some feedback. And in his listening, I could feel judgment. Like I could
Mhm.
feel his judgment of me. And like with that level 5 listening is like, we have intuitions, right? Like we can feel things, and so things that aren't said where the micro distinctions are. The things that like that people don't necessarily say, but if you kind of read between the lines, you know what they're trying to say. And I think level 5 listening is like so important. And then my third would be love.
Love.
I believe that sales and influence is like the most loving thing that you can do for humanity, because it is sales professionals and influence masters that get people across the line to make change in their life. And as human beings, like change is not easy, right? Like we are creatures of habit. Like it's safe when we know what to expect. And so change is extraordinarily uncomfortable for people, even for myself. Like I'm better at it than most, but like it's still, uncomfortable when we get out of what is familiar. And it's that like deep love like with boundaries that enables like people to trust you to be able to like influence their life in a better and different way.
That's beautiful. Yeah, love is it's beautiful. I mean, all three of those are amazing. I really I kind of put you on the spot here because I don't know that I could just come up with three
Yeah.
because they're really all interchangeable, right? There's so many different elements of influence, and there's not really just three. But I wanted to see what you were talking. Level 5 listening was definitely one for me, and I'll tell you why for me on that one is because people tell you things for a reason. And most salespeople go into the process, and I even did a podcast on this of going from A to Z, where A is a hello and Z is a yes, right? And how sometimes we rush that process. Like the goal is a yes, and that yes might be a purchase order, and that yes might be the only purchase order we got all month, and we're starving and we're commission based, and it's like we're just get there, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And so everything they tell you up until that point, you're not really listening to. You got an agenda. Okay, so yeah, that's great. That's great. Oh, your parents came in. They defected from the Ukraine back in the 30s. Oh, yeah, that's nice. So we're going to deliver the product on such and such a day, right? Racing right to my agenda,
Yep.
not really truly listening.
Yeah.
And people, like you said, they do tell you things for a reason. And the body language, the tonality, the change in the pitch, the change in their energies, right? Where they're going from something that's very loving, maybe they're telling you something very sensitive.
Yep.
You can tell you pissed them off, and now they're all of a sudden getting very guarded, one word answers,
Yep.
you know, that kind of level zero listening,
Yep.
if you will, right?
100%. 100%.
Yeah, and I guess one of the other things that I like, well, I would throw up there as one of my threes, is validation. I hear
Yeah.
you, I hear you, I see you, as Oprah says, and what you say matters,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
No matter what it is, right? The
Yes.
validation piece, and I guess I don't think enough people do that, right? The validate. I had a sales guy one time. I'm like, I don't know if I can buy from you, and he's like, I get it, I get it. I'm just, please tell me where I failed to show you. This was the greatest line I ever. Is where show me where I failed to show you the value in my friendship and my trust with you.
Mm.
Like, I'm
Mm.
grabbing the knife, the pen, like, oh, what do you mean, dude? You were like, of course you didn't fall down on that,
Yeah.
But again, all of these types of things are probably what's going to influence your organization. I mean, what's going to set your group, Align Sales Services, apart, and why just women?
So, I would say we're not all women. We're like 80% female driven. And the reason is to give a voice for female sales professionals, right? There's not an organization out there that focuses on providing female sales professionals. So that's really like, our brand and our niche in the marketplace. Now, I don't discriminate. I have some very amazing heart-centered men as well that are absolutely extraordinary that we've placed in roles that are just incredible. So, yeah, so, but what was the first question that you asked me before? Why just women? I feel
Yeah,
like there was.
why? Well, I asked, what is it that's unique about your,
Oh yeah,
your
that's what.
business, right?
Yeah.
And why just women?
Yeah. So I mean the uniqueness is that, we provide women sales professionals, but the really the basis for that is like heart-centered sales. Like
Mhm.
we teach a heart-centered sales method, and it's really for people, the people that come to us is like they don't want the like pushy Grant Cardone style salesperson. They want someone who is, heart-centered, that's the consultative sale, that's a problem solver, not a product pusher. Like they're looking for that kind of that person who, will be with them long term. And we have found that one, women tend to be more loyal, and so they'll stay with a company longer, like whereas men will like, tend to hop from company to company, like whoever basically gives them the best offer, right? There's nothing wrong with that. It's just a different, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, but women will tend to like stay loyal, want to stay with a company and like help and see it grow. And so that's really like our niche market. And our niche market is we work with companies that are doing between 1 and 5 million, where this is their first or second sales hire. So they're looking for someone who wants to like help them grow and scale.
Awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. Do you think that okay, we're in the cone of silence. You ever see you're probably too young. You don't know the show Get Smart?
Nope.
Okay. So it was remade in a movie with Steve Carell. But anyways, in Get Smart, when they wanted to talk about something in secret, they literally had this plastic shell, like dome, come down over their heads. All right. And
Okay.
you were in the cone of silence. So in the cone of silence, you could say anything. Right.
Oh.
So,
All right.
and
Are we going into the cone of silence
yes, we're in the cone of
in front of
silence.
all your hundreds of thousands of listeners?
Yes, we are going to go in the cone of silence.
Oh,
So
okay.
right now, 100,000 people, they may or may not hear this, okay, because we're in the cone of silence. It's just you and me. All
Okay.
right. So, bottom line, are women better salespeople than men?
Yes. That is not a secret.
And
There's
why?
studies done on this, Frank.
I'm going to have
There's
to, I'm going to have to agree with you. Okay. Not have to. I want to agree with you. And yes, but I want to hear why. I want to hear why you made that statement. Why women are better salespeople.
well, one, there's actually studies done on it. So it's not just there's like actually statistics around this. Like Harvard's done studies, like there's all kinds of statistics around this. But my personal opinion is that one is like women can also use their intuition with sales. Women tend to be better listeners. Women also have like that intuitional, so like that level 5 listening is like
Mhm.
women also kind of like have that intuition where like, where we can go, there's like something not right with that communication, and like can dig a little deeper. And let's be honest,
Yes.
like if you're in a relationship and like you come home late, do you not get 50,000 questions? Like women are incredible question askers, and they are incredible at getting to the bottom of the line, and everyone knows it. And like the amount of questions that a woman can ask can out question any man on the planet, and sales and influence comes down to the questions that you ask. True or true?
True or truer? Yes, true, true. There was a, and it's funny you say that because when I talk about sales and I teach people that it's all about questions and the quality of your questions, right, is the quality of how the sale, and whoever asks the most questions controls the sale, right? Getting into that type of technique, you always use the example of a little kid, right? 5-year-olds are the best salespeople because
Yep.
they're like, "Ma, can I have this cookie? No, please." That's a question, right? Please, no. Please, no. Why? Question, question, question. And they just wear the shit out of you. And
Yeah.
finally you just go, okay, you
Have the
can
effing cookie.
have the cookie. Have the cookie, right?
Yeah.
And then I saw a commercial one time where there was like this referee in an NFL game. He's standing in the end zone and he makes this call, and the player is in his ear, just yelling and screaming and flailing around. Arms are going everywhere. And the referee is just calm as day. And they're like, oh my God, look at this guy. He's getting berated. Berated. How do you think he learned that skill? Then all of a sudden they flash to the guy being at home, coming home late. And his wife is
Ah,
like
that's adorable.
in his ear. That's where
Yep.
he learned. And you're right. Women can get to the bottom line on a lot of things. Yes, they
Yep.
can. And so again, guys, we're just very simple. Yes, no. Yes means yes. Here's the difference. So if you guys don't think yes means yes, no means no. That's what
Right.
I think. Well, you said yes, but here's your the way you said it, the tone meant no. Yes
Yep.
means yes, no means no. So I have to agree with you that I believe that women are more influential in the selling process
Yes.
because they are sensitive. There's that goddess energy that they can bring
Yep.
into a deal, right? Where
Yep.
guys don't tend to go there very often,
Yep.
which is an element of sensitivity, which is an element of trust, right?
Yep.
And that intuition piece that you're talking about is not necessarily that you're asking a million questions, but you are listening.
Yep.
And so I have to agree that yes, for all the guys, and I hired lots of guys out there who have been excellent, excellent salespeople,
Yep.
and all my other friends out in the world that are men that are you guys are unbelievable. And by the way, only people that I have ever hired have been exceptional. So they are on par with all the women that are hired as well. But I have a lot of women in my company and always have because
Oh, that's awesome.
women salespeople, they get it done. They
Yes.
get it done.
I love it. It's amazing.
Hey, another question for you.
Okay.
I'm gonna change directions, maybe a little bit. Your title, I got an email from you, okay?
Okay.
And your title is your name Bella Verita, Chief Sales Sorceress.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Why are you the sorceress of sales?
Because I make magic happen, baby.
I love it. I
I
love it.
make magic happen when it comes to sales. Like I just started working with one new corporation, and we doubled their sale. My first week working with them, we doubled their sales. Second week working with them, we doubled their subscription rate.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I make
That's it.
magic happen.
Yes, you do. You make magic happen.
Yep.
Wow. Um, and you do have, a lot of you bring a fun energy into it. How important is that?
It is very important. So, you've been talking about a lot of the things from, the formula. And, one of the distinctions that I made the other day, and I shared this on a call, is like the fun energy is what gets you through the door. Like, that's what gets people to talk to you. Like, if you're an asshole, pardon my language, like nobody wants to talk to you.
Right.
But like people want to talk to fun people. Like if I was boring and not that exciting, you probably would not be having me on your podcast. So
Correct.
like, yeah. So like that fun energy is what like gets you through the door and like gets people to want to talk to you. So I think like fun is super important, but like you can't be. And one of the things that like, I'm playing with is like it can't all be fun. Like, you've got to bring in, as you mentioned, like, the goddess energy, the Zeus energy, because if you're in too much fun, you're not actually getting anything done, which I may or may not have been guilty of that in my life.
Well, hey, we're all be guilty of that, right? And part of that, well, I'll speak for myself. The fun energy for me was a way to mask fear.
Hmm.
It wasn't always a genuine fun.
Hmm.
I was laughing because I was afraid of something.
Oh.
And if I kept it lighthearted, then we didn't have to get into the tough conversation,
Oh.
right?
Interesting.
We didn't have to get into that side of the heroic, unique identity of me that was going to be vulnerable and weak because I didn't want to do that. I'm a Boston guy, right? And
Yeah.
we're up in the Northeast. You grew up tough, and you don't show that side here,
Hmm.
which is the goddess energy that you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, Bella, with all of these, sales experiences that you've ever had, right?
Yep.
And you're judging a sales team, like now you know what you know,
Yep.
okay? And you go back and you go, okay, these are the network like multi-level marketing. Let's just
Yep.
talk about multi-level marketing as in general, okay?
Yep.
There are people that are highly successful at that. I've been in two in my lifetime. What I loved about it was just the positive energy was everywhere. Like
Yeah.
the vibe, the learning,
Yep.
the get together, the rah rah was just crazy good.
Yep.
And yet the pitch, if you will, the opening thing was it's always felt deceiving and skeevy and hey, I have a business opportunity for you. Would you like to get together and talk about it? Is it Amway? Oh well, yeah. Well then why do you say that? Right? Is it Avon? Is it Mary Kay? Is it Melaleuca? Is it Primerica? Is it pick one, right?
Right.
Is it ABC? Why don't we just talk about that? Right? Like why do you think that, like, if you can go back now and, or let's say that your business is now, you're coaching people in the $1 to $5 million space.
Yep.
10 years from now, you are so incredibly successful that now you're just your skills, you're coaching Fortune 50s. That's it. Everybody's, 50 million, 100 million, 500 million or more in sales. You're running their sales teams, which a lot of these multi-level marketing teams are. Okay. They're
Mm-hmm.
they're big companies.
Yeah.
What would you say is, what would you have them change, I guess, in the way that they sell now? Now that you know all that you know, and you look back at the model, because these are successful models.
Yep.
They're making a lot of people, and they make people millionaires too.
Yep.
But what would you change in their model to bring it?
The first thing that comes to mind is acknowledgement. I think that that's the first thing that needs to be changed in any sales organization, is like learning how to acknowledge each other. And like when you're making like calls, is truly like seeing people and acknowledging them first, and being present and aware to what is in it for them versus what is in it for you.
And you don't think the MLMs do a good job of that? Oh no, what's in it for them?
Um, I think they do. So let me think. Let me feel into um I think they do. I think the biggest distinction with MLM is like they don't actually do a whole lot of like great training with with influence, right? It's like kind of
Yeah,
call your friends and family, like get them enrolled, like kind of sell them the dream. Versus like, when I enrolled, so I was a top income in a network marketing company, and I would tell people, like I was always honest, right?
yeah,
And I was like, you're gonna work. Like, this is not a, like, 'cause I feel like, and I haven't been involved in a network marketing company in years, so I don't know what they like still do. But I remember like back in the day is like, they would sell like, oh, make $10,000 a month and work an hour a week, right? Like,
yeah,
you can make money in network marketing, but it takes a lot of freaking work. Like, I was like, 60, 70, 80, 90 hours a week, like presentation after presentation, supporting team after team. Like, it was not. And I remember when my company shut down after 3 years of being with it, and had just moved to Vegas because that's where their headquarters was, and I was like doing really big things with them. And then they were shut down by the FTC or DSA or something, I don't know. And I remember like when they were shut down, I was just like, I was like, I don't want to do this. And I actually became a cocktail waitress in Vegas for a minute, but I was like, I just like, it's so much work. And I
yeah.
don't think they tell people like, yeah, you can do really well, but be prepared to work, 70 hours a week for, the next, like, because really network marketing is, and I always used to say, like, you got to give it at least 5 years, 5 years of like hustle, and then you can kind of like sit back and reap the benefits of the fruits of your labor, as they say.
Sure. I think that's true with anything, right? I mean,
Yep.
there's this whole ease and grace is fantastic, but I think that comes after the persistence part. It comes after the hustle and grind. If you want anything in life, persistency will get it to you,
Yep.
right? Consistency will let you keep it though,
Yep.
right? So, and that's where you're like, I liken this to, remember that, I don't know if you remember this, but there used to be this merry-go-round ride in the park, like at
Yep.
public parks, where there was like little pies on this thing, and people would sit on the pie, and you had to go push the thing, right, to get it going.
Yep.
And your lazy ass friends would sit on the thing and kick you in the head rather than get off and run and push, 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 right? Then you finally get the thing going. Then all you have to do is just with your fingers, right?
Yep.
Boom, and it just keeps going. But if
Yep.
you stop with the fingers on the handle, right, just keep moving it, it stops, and you're right back to grinding it again, which sucks.
Yep.
So it's
Agreed.
stay in that consistent flow,
Yep.
right? Stay in that consistency. Well, hey, I just love your energy. I really do.
I love you.
I love you too. You really. I mean, of all the people I met in Long Beach Island, and when we were there, you were one of the most just funnest people that were there. I mean, there was 60, 70 people there, and they were all fun. Okay, but you just have a very fun, outgoing, pleasant energy that I think lit up the room in many, many cases. You and and quite a few other people, but you especially. I just wanted to acknowledge that is your playful side, and to work with you on a project would be amazing because you do bring a lot of fun to it. And but you're also, a person who's taking no prisoners now. Now you are like driven. You have that what we call Zeus energy to get it done.
Yep.
And so I can only
I'm ruling the
imagine.
world. Let's go.
Yep, you're rolling around the world. So what does it look like 10 years from now for you that you're successful?
10
Like
years from now, um, so 10 years from now, I would love to like have a few homes or like a bunch of my friends and I talk about because like I love to travel. Like I am not a like let me buy a house and settle down. Like that's never going to be in my formula ever, ever. I've never even lived somewhere longer than 3 years. Like, and I'm nomadic right now and I love it. Um, and so, like, some of my friends and I have talked about like investing in several like properties all over the country and then kind of like, having kind of compounds all over the place where we can just like, I can have a place in California and I can have a place in Texas and I can have a place in the East Coast and probably the Caribbean. So definitely having some sort of situation where I have multiple homes, even if it's just I own part of them,
sure.
all over the country, and all over the world because I love Italy and wine and all things. Yeah.
Who doesn't? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, you're right.
Um, and so that's like a part of it. And then I'm thinking in about 10 years, I would really love to adopt a couple foster kids. I've never wanted to have children, but I've always wanted to adopt, and I would like to adopt them past the baby stage I'd like to adopt them at the stage where they can like get themselves up for breakfast and like feed themselves and stuff. But just
21,
like
where they're like living and they're working and they're paying rent.
yeah, well, not so far that, but like, like that kids that are old enough that like don't would grow up if they didn't get adopted, they would grow up in foster care. Like that's always been important to me. So that's something that I would like to be able to do someday. And then there is something that I am working on that will probably happen within the next I'm going to go 3 to 5 years. That is will definitely be my jet money and I would definitely love to travel via private jet because it's just how I roll.
That's how you roll. Do you want to share it in the cone of silence? Should we go back in the cone of silence?
Nope.
No, this is double secret. Okay.
Yep.
We'll wait till the next Orange Crushing It episode where you will unveil the
There
big
you go.
plan.
Give them reasons to
Okay.
come back and listen.
That's right. Listen again for the Bella Varita show.
Yep. Yes.
Well, Bella, I have no doubt in my mind that the path that you're on is going to lead to infinite success. I have no doubt in my mind that, the people that you touch along the way in these next 10 years are going to have an experience of fun, excitement, and accomplishment. I really do. I really believe
Thank you.
that. I believe that about you. And, if you're somebody that's out there that wants to be involved in sales, wants to get involved in that career, I highly recommend that you reach out to Bella. And Bella, how can people get a hold of you?
They can go to alignsales.co online. They can find me at Bella Verita, bella.ann.verita on the Instagram, or Bella Verita on Facebook. So it's pretty easy to find me in linesales.co. And I just want to say as we're, you know, uh, closing out here is, you were also a very important part of my LBI. And not only did you share your breakfast with me, and made sure we got to like eat all the things that we had no limitations in what we ordered. The thing I loved most about you, like we literally, I think Frank and I ordered half the menu because we wanted to try all the things. So I love when someone will share food with me because I just like give me a bite of all the things. Um,
We
but like
did. We had half the menu. We did.
yeah, we definitely had half the menu. Like we took up like half the table. We were like,
Yes.
oh, I guess everybody else can like fit in here. So that was amazing. But just even like your level of influence mastery, like you also had a energy that like, people are drawn to and like want to know and you hold such an incredible space and like your Zeus energy is incredible, but I remember when we like dropped into that exercise and you got into your goddess energy and like it literally moved the room to tears. And like your level of like mastery of like the four different energies and being able to influence an entire room was incredible. So I feel honored to know you.
Well, thank you very much. I will take that in, And I appreciate that. And by the way, you know, part of that goddess energy was you dropping into it too, and us doing it at the same time in that exercise. And you're right. We did have a major influence in the room. And
Yes,
and I thank you for that experience. It was really beautiful.
absolutely. Thank you.
So um, before I close out, is there any one last thing that you would want to tell people about you in the cone of silence that you're like, this is an exclusive. I just want to drop this in and then we'll say goodbye. Like one little, maybe a fun fact about you that just nobody's heard. I mean, nobody's.
I don't have a fun fact, but I think what I would like to say, like, just, in the world of like mastering sales and influence, like, especially with like influences, like, you get to have anything in life that you want. And I think so many people, men and women alike, limit themselves to what is on the menu versus allowing themselves to dream about what's on the buffet.
Beautiful. That's a
So,
beautiful phrase.
yeah. If there's to just not limit yourself to what is on the menu. Like with the power of influence, you truly, like, I was doing a training earlier where like one of our gals influenced to be able to get into a VIP section at like one of the NASCAR races when she wasn't on the list, negotiated her way onto a private jet when, like, so this that master like influence. And I was inspired by her. I was like, well, shit, I want to go like on a jet. Like, how do I influence that? Right.
Right.
And so, it's just like it really is influence mastery is so that you can order from the buffet of life and not just limit yourself to what's on the menu.
So we'll just always be looking for the buffet. Always order off menu.
Yeah. Like if you've ever been to, and it's not open right now, but if you've ever been to the Bacchanal room at Caesar's Palace, this buffet is like 2 football fields long. It's insanity. It's got every single food from all around the world and all of the best food from like every sort of like food that you can possibly imagine, from like Indian to American to seafood, like everything. And it's like massive. And you can literally have the dessert room itself is the size of a half a football field.
Wow.
It's insane.
I don't think I'd leave there. I would have a sugar high and I would stay there.
Yeah, they give you like a 2 hour window to be there. And like it's incredible, but you can have anything that you want. And that would be the thing that I would leave people with is like mastering sales and influence is about having the buffet of your life, of your dreams.
You know what I think? A little suggestion. I think you need a picture of that, and that needs to be your virtual screen when you get online.
The buffet.
And show the buffet, okay, and tell why it's there, because that's what you should be dreaming of. It's everything possible. 2 football fields full of food.
Oh my God.
I
can't wait till that. Food is my love language. I can't wait till things open back up there.
Well, thank God we only met in Long Beach Island for some, what was it, Uncle Will's restaurant?
Will's.
Uncle Will's, where, we had a table and we ordered. I can't even imagine going to like the buffet at Caesar's Palace with you. We would need.
With bottomless mimosas, game over.
Game over. Bella Varita, thank you for being on my show today. You're amazing. You're fun. And again, it's been great hanging out with you. Let's do this again sometime in the near future, not distant, in the near future. Okay.
Let's do it.
All right. Thanks very much. Stay inspiring, hon.
Thank
You're
you.
awesome.
Bye-bye.